A little off-season catch-up here at the Flames TV desk. Pleased to welcome in Matthew Phillips, and Matthew fresh off a one-year contract extension with the Calgary Flames organization. And maybe, first of all, let's just start with that. You guys played deep into the spring with Stockton. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But just to have some familiarity with the contract and come back for a fifth, I think it is, pro season here with Calgary.
Yeah, very happy to be back for another year. Like you said, it was a long season, so we were kind of into finding a new contract right away, and the summer's already going by pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, super excited to be back and had a good season last year and looking to build off of that.
A little bit of a unique circumstance. I mean, your whole professional career has been in Stockton, and this year will change a little bit. And moving back to Calgary, how does that change things for you coming back home to play, no matter what the situation is next season?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting move. I think there's a lot of different aspects that it's going to be good for the American League team to be in Calgary, and I know the fans are going to support the team really well, and it's going to be fun to have that team in a Canadian market. And obviously, I'm trying to make the big club, but either way, knowing that I'm going to be in Calgary for the winter is exciting.
Yeah, no question about it, and that's always the focal point. Maybe there was a lot of excitement here. I mean, just obviously around this building and the run the Calgary Flames went on, but then just hearing and seeing a lot of the talk about what was going on with you guys as well. Maybe just give us an idea of what last year was like, and obviously making a deep run into the playoffs, and what that meant to you and your group.
Yeah, it was a great season. I think right from the start, we gelled really well. We had a really good mix of veteran players that have been around. We had some guys that have been on the team a few years, and then we had some young guys step up and have incredible seasons. So I think we were in first place from, I think, early November until the last day of the regular season, and we had a lot of success in that sense. And then we went on a really nice playoff run there, and got really close to winning it all. So there's a ton of positives to take away from last season, and a lot of guys had really good years.
Well, and you mentioned the mix, but I think if some of the younger guys who get an opportunity to win a couple of playoff rounds like that and to get that deep into the playoffs, I mean, what does that do for a group knowing you felt like you took a step forward and that there was some potential to maybe push it even further?
Yeah, definitely. We talked right before playoffs about how many guys had played certain number of playoff games and experience, and there really wasn't that many. And then all of a sudden, you've got that whole group now that we played into the conference finals, and you get a lot more playoff games under your belt, and that's an experience that a lot of guys can pull from, and that's going to help a lot of guys in their careers. And that was my fourth season, and that was my first time really in the playoffs, besides being like a call-up when I was 18. So it was a ton of fun. And yeah, it was a great run we had.
What about personally speaking, career highs, goals, points? Did it feel kind of like you took a step forward this year, professionally speaking, just on the offensive side of the game, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like I've improved every year since I've turned pro, and kind of have a good understanding now of how I can be effective at the pro level and use my skill set. But a big thing for me was kind of just to play the whole year. I think obviously the COVID year, played about 30 games, and season before I had a pretty big injury, and I think I only got about 35, 38 games that year. So to be able to play just about every game this season was awesome, and found some consistency there, and I played with the same line mates essentially the whole season. So that was nice, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, and you mentioned it right off the top. I mean, when you sign this contract again, the goal is to come back in here in camp and make a push for it and be part of the conversation to get a roster spot. What is it? I know we talked about off-season wise, it's shorter this year for you. Does it change anything in terms of how you approach things, or how do you look at the off-season and trying to come back in here in training camp the best way possible?
Yeah, I mean, my approach doesn't really change. Every year coming in here, you're trying to make the NHL team and show what you can do and how you can help the team at that level. But yeah, it's a shorter off season, so not as much time to build like a base training wise. You're kind of jumping right into it. I kind of tried to find the mix this summer of taking some rest, but not taking too much rest, because then camp's right around the corner. So it's kind of tricky in that sense, but yeah, hopefully I can kind of stay sharp pretty easily, and yeah, just take some momentum from last season into camp.
Does it have to be maybe the on-ice part that you stay away from a little bit longer? I mean, you're kind of a guy that likes to stay on the ice as much as possible, though. Over the
Yeah,
offseason?
I think on ice, it's the type of thing that after a normal season, you might feel really rusty after when you get your first skates back, but this time it wasn't too bad. I think it's more off ice. You have to be a little cautious initially, just especially after a long playoff run. Your body needs time to recover, and it's a long season, and you're going into this upcoming season hoping that you're going to play just as long. So the last thing you need is to kind of go into it too hot and maybe start off on the wrong foot.
Yeah. All right. Well, last one for you, and that's just what about just casually, leisurely, any plans, trips or anything like that planned to take a
Not many planned. I kind of got them all out of the way. I went out to Newfoundland for 2 weeks just after the season ended, and that was awesome. Saw a lot of family out there, and just kind of relaxed, got out on the ocean and stuff like that. And besides that, golfing a lot. That's kind of what I like to do in the summer, and get out to the mountains. But yeah, nothing too crazy for me.
Well, good stuff. It's congrats on the contract, and appreciate you spending some time with us. And I know camp will be here before we all know it.
Yeah.
Just around the corner.
Yeah, thank you very much.